sorry, I wasn't underlining things crazy. The president of this country, my God, the perceived, so the boss, I'm coming, sorry, I made a mistake here, a thief. So the perceived the principal crazy. I regard you very stupid. Now, so we go back to this thief here. SPOC nominal. These two SPOC adjectival. Now, what do we mean by this? So these are object complements, and then that means that the complement here actually refers back to the object. Do you get it? Refers back to the object. So you have, you all elected me the president. Who was elected the president of this country? Me. So me is the object. The president of this country is a complement that refers back to that object. I call him my God. Who was called my God? Him. So him is the object. My God is the complement that refers back to him. Some members of the staff called the boss a thief. So who was called a thief? Their boss. So their boss is the object. A thief is the complement. The perceived, the principal crazy. Who was perceived crazy? The principal. So the principal, object, crazy, complement. Then I regard you very stupid. Who was regarded very stupid? You. So you, object, very stupid, complement. Do you get it? So let's try to go straight to the features or characteristics of the object. Of the object complement. I don't know if I should actually clean these. Let's clean it. Yeah, let's do that. Don't forget, our topic is still sentence or clausal elements, and then we have the subject, the predicator, the complement, the object, and the adjunct. So, characteristics of the object complement, so that you don't miss out on what we are dealing with. Now, first characteristics of the object complement is it is also realized by nominal or adjectival items. Also realized by nominal or adjectival items. 2. It maintains an intensive relationship with the object. Maintains an intensive relationship with the object. You know, unlike the subject complement that we said to actually maintain an intensive relationship with the subject, this time around the object complement maintains an intensive relationship with the object. Do you get it? Now, it usually comes in a sentence, in an SPOC sentence. So we would only see the object complement found. It is found in an SPOC sentence. So that's just it. So for us to have had an object complement, that means that the sentence must have been an SPOC sentence, and that means that the sentence must have obviously have had what we call a complex transitive verb, because a complex transitive verb is the one that we should have in an SPOC sentence. a complex transitive verb is a verb that can rather take an object and at the same time take an object complement. So it comes after the direct object. It comes after the direct object. Now that means that for us to have the object complement, then that means that the object in that sentence is a direct object. And also, like we said concerning the subject complement, its presence also is determined by the verb. So that's just it. Its presence is also determined by the verb. So that's everything that you need to know about the complement intensive, whether it is the subject complement or the object complement. So let's go to the final item or final element of the clausal structure, which is what? The adjunct or adverbial. I hope you've been enjoying this class. I obviously believe you actually have been enjoying this class. And if you need to know more about some of these things, just check up on our other videos. So you may need to check up on our videos on parts of speeches, and our videos on phrases and slash groups, on our videos on clauses, on our videos on sentences, on our videos on basic simple sentences, and etc. There are a number of videos that teach grammar that we've produced, and I believe you will be blessed. You would enjoy all of them, trust me. So let's go to the last clausal element, which is the adverbial. Wow. Now, the adverbial is the most peripheral or optional element in the clause. Yes, the most optional element in the clause. Don't forget that the object is optional. The object is optional depending on the particular verb that we have as the predicator. The complement is also optional depending on the particular verb that we have as the predicator. However, the adverbial is extremely optional, like almost always optional. So that's why it is called the most optional element in the clause. Yes, the most optional element in the clause. And its main function is to modify or qualify, or better still, describe the action of the verb. Yeah, its main function is to modify the verb. That is, it tells us about the time. Tells us about the time of the verb, the place, the action rather, the time. It tells about the time of the action, the place of the action, the manner of the action, the reason for the action, the purpose of the action, the concession about the action, the means of the action, and etc. So the adverbial tells us gives us a whole lot of information, mainly about the action, or better still, about the verb. Another thing we should note, which actually was to go about some of these things when we talk about the features, is that the adverb is actually extremely mobile. It's the most mobile item. It can be before the subject, it can be after the subject, it can be before the predicator, it can be after the predicator, it can be before the object, it can be after the object, it can be before the complement, it can be after the complement, it can be anywhere in the sentence, it can be at the initial, medial, or final position. It can come anywhere in the clause structure. And then it is the only clausal element that can occur more than once. Yes, the only clausal element that can occur more than once. You could think that, but how about an SPOO sentence? You told us that we could have two objects in the sentence. Don't forget that the two objects actually have different names. One of them is indirect, while the other one is direct. But for the adverbial, just the same name. And then we could have more than one adverbs in the sentence. We could have an adverb of time and place at the same time in the sentence. We could have an adverb of manner and a result at the same time in the sentence. We could have an adverb of purpose and concession at the same time in the sentence. We could have an adverb of reason and means in the sentence. Adverbials are extremely mobile, and we could have more than one of them in a sentence. So let's look at examples. Joshua became my very good friend since last year. I will regard him stupid. I will regard him stupid for the rest of ages, for the rest of life. Let's just say for the rest of life. Sorry, we have an issue. Of life. Last year, sorry, for the rest of life. Last year, she got married. It came here by sea. Jane usually reads at night. Jane usually reads at night. She stole the money for her sister, for her sister's health. She stole the money for her sister's health. I will always be the head and not the tail. So, looking at all of these that have been underlined, Joshua became my very good friend since last year. So since last year is an adverb or an adverbial element, I will regard him stupid for the rest of life. For the rest of life is the adverbial element. Last year she got married, so last year is the adverbial element there. It came here by sea. By sea is the adverbial element. Jane usually reads at night. At night, the adverbial element. She stole the money for her sister's health. For her sister's health is the adverbial element. I will always be the head and not the tail. Always is the adverbial element. So there are a whole lot of things to actually discuss about adverbs, because one of the most beautiful parts of all of these clausal elements is that adverbs, especially in a way, have a way of beautifying sentences. Yes. So you want to know you want to make good conversations in English, learn how to use adverbials properly and appropriately. Now, characteristics of adverbials. Characteristics. First of all, it is the most optional. Sorry, we keep having optional or peripheral clausal element. The most optional or peripheral clausal element. That means that you could have it, you may not have it. That's just, you may have it, you may not have it. It's not necessarily compulsory. Two, it however may be obligatory if it comes after a locative verb. Yes, it however may be obligatory if it comes after a locative verb. Now let me give you an instance of that. Now, if you are familiar with what we call clausal basic simple sentence patterns, the pattern 6, which is SPA, is the A in pattern 6 is an obligatory adverbial. Let me give you one. She is in the room. Now, in the room here is an adverbial that we cannot do without, because it is telling us of the location of the subject. If you want to understand this very well, just go and watch our video on basic simple sentence patterns. Let's just put an end to that. So let's go on with the features or characteristics of the adverbial. It is extremely mobile. It is extremely mobile. That is, its level of mobility is extremely high. Now that means it could come before the subject or have it could come anywhere in the sentence, anywhere at all in the clausal structure. Another feature of it is that its position, however, is mostly final. Its position is mostly final. Now, don't get it wrong. That we say that it is extremely mobile doesn't mean that it doesn't have a usual position. So its usual position is mostly final. Just like when we actually name the elements of the clausal structure, we write it this way: SPOCA. That tells you that the subject is supposed to be at the initial, followed by the predicate, followed by the object, followed by the complement, and followed by the adverb. So the adverb is actually supposed to be the one to come at the final position. However, for its extreme mobility, it may be anywhere in the sentence too. So it's not like it is limited to the final position, but its usual position is at the final end of the sentence. It is mostly realized by adverbial phrases. Yeah, mostly realized by mostly realized by adverbial phrases or clauses, prepositional phrases, and once in a while nominal phrases and noun phrases too once in a while. But then don't be bothered about that. We'll go back to that if there is a need for us to explain further. So it is usually realized by adverbial phrases or adverbial clauses or prepositional phrases. Another thing is it could occur more than once in a sentence. Yes. Adverbs usually occur more than once in a sentence. For instance, we could have something like last year she stole my money while I was away, while I was asleep. Now, while I was asleep is an adverbial clause. Last year is a noun phrase functioning as an adverb. So if you have the element analyzed, we have last year as an A, she as your subject, stole as your predicator, my money as your object, and then while I was asleep as your adjective again. So you could say that we could have adverbials. This in a way already helps us prove that it is extremely mobile. We could have it at the beginning of a sentence, we could have it at the end of a sentence. It also tells us that it is very it mostly appears at the final position. Of course, this is it at the final position, but we could also still front this, and then it's gonna come more than once in a sentence. We have one adverb here, we have one other adverb here, so that's just it. And then I think that's the final. It does not determine the other element that comes in the clause. Of course, since it mostly comes at the final position, so it has no way of determining the other items, the other elements in the clause. So adverbials do not usually determine the other items or the other elements that come in the clause. So that's the whole end about adverbials, and that means we've actually come to the end of the topic on sentential / sentence / clausal elements. I believe you've really enjoyed this course. I really believe so. So we're able to talk extensively about the subjects, about the predicator, about the object, also known as the complement extensive, about the complement intensive also, and about the adverbial. Watch out for our next video on English grammar. This has been brought to you by EduTV. Thank you for viewing, thank you for learning, and we really hope to give you better services the next time. Thank you, bye for now.